Welcome to episode 18 of the radio podcast. Khushi.
Hey! High five in the
high five
beginning.
now.
Yeah, okay. Hey, what's up, Mr. Kung?
It's the sky.
Actually,
It's the ceiling
yeah.
right now.
You're wrong.
So, what is going on, Khushi?
Nothing much. Just a lot of events coming up. We're squeezing all the events in April and May. So next week we have the Vaisakhi celebration on Thursday, April 20th. And there's going to be samosas. I think there's henna. I'm not sure because I'm not in it. And then the week after that, from Monday 24th to Friday the 28th, we have a Spirit Week that Student Council's doing. And there's going to be Rainbow Day, Jersey Day, Twin Day, Raider Day, Tropical Day. And there's going to be like relays, teachers versus kids. There's going to be, yeah.
What kind of relays?
We haven't planned it out yet, but little sports and little games like that.
Uh-huh.
And we're going to have tug of war. We're going to have a water balloon toss. That's a maybe for now. And we're going to have a pizza sale. So it's going to be a full week of that. And also in that week, on the 27th of April, we have the Coffeehouse. So make sure you guys come out to see that. And then in May, we have the Slip and Slide on May 18th. And we also have the Famine coming up sometime in May around that. And
So there is a famine this year.
yeah, there is.
Oh, excellent. I love the famine. I always go.
Yeah.
Do you ever... You've been to the famine, right?
No, I haven't.
You
But
haven't?
I'm doing it this year.
Oh,
I
you
wasn't
should go.
allowed
It's so
to.
much fun. You weren't allowed.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
I'm going to try because
Yeah.
this time I really want to. I'm in week too.
Yeah.
So.
Excellent. And the coffee house, I saw people auditioning.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
I think Mr. Turpin and I are going to do a song as well.
Really?
Oh yeah.
What song?
Yeah.
Can you tell us?
I can't tell you. I think some people know because I was kind of fiddling around on the piano.
Are you gonna have
this morning?
Piano? Any other instruments?
Voice.
Voice. Well,
Unless
that's a good
Mr. Turpin brings in like a bongo drum or something. No,
Oh my
I
God,
think
that
he's
would be
just
so
going to
cute.
sing.
Okay, well
Yeah.
that's
So
cool.
that's something we're working on. So that'll be lots of fun.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, and we've got a 4-day weekend.
Oh my God! Thank God.
Thank
I really
goodness.
wanted it.
It's been a really tough week for me.
Yes, me too. I barely slept in the beginning of this week. It was so bad. All the projects and tests on the same day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, presentations too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's terrible, but
It's a relief.
you
now.
got through
I
it.
can relax. Yeah.
You got through it. For me, hay fever. I don't know. Sometimes you get the sunny weather and all the pollen's all over the place, and yeah,
I
this
had to
whole week
carry
has
my
been.
bridge project in the rain, but then I got a ride halfway through, so.
It's survived. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got lucky.
You finished your bridge project.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Okay.
I didn't show you.
No, you haven't shown
I'll
me.
show you. I have a picture. I'll show you.
So is this gonna? What does it have to withstand?
5 kgs?
5
This is
kilograms.
Like, yeah.
This is for Mr. Joe Hall's physics class.
Yeah, we're gonna do that next week, I think.
Oh,
With the
okay.
testing.
Oh, I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, I feel like
Cool.
mine's gonna break, but we're hoping it won't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we had an interview with Alandra.
Yeah, I heard. How was it?
It was great. She's really talented, and
I
we
know.
talked about all the different musicals she's been in and the plays she's been in, what she's going to be doing in the future, and her life and interests and things like that. Very interesting.
I'm excited to hear that.
It'll be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Khushi, have a very good weekend.
I will. You too.
Everybody, enjoy the podcast.
One more high five.
One more high five. Oh, there we
No,
go.
okay, we don't do it right. There we go. That's better.
All right, thanks. Sounds better.
Eight.
That helps.
Sorry, that's my hi-hat.
That's Coffeehouse.
Yeah, we're just gonna beatbox.
We figured it out.
The new band. That's pretty
You're
good.
pretty good at that.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Oh. Now you have to rap.
Yeah, you gotta
Anybody
freestyle.
rap?
I can't.
Where's Lazarus?
Yeah, we need Lazarus. I can't do that. not to save my life.
Now all the parents are walking by. What is going on at the school?
We're the coolest school, that's why.
All right, we're here with Alandra and Mr. Turpin.
What's up?
Hello.
How's everything?
Pretty good. I'm just sick right now, which kind of sucks, but that's all right.
The life of being in the petri dish, as they say, right?
Yeah.
That's where we work.
What's the petri dish?
Where we work.
Germany?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm immune.
I know, because you've been here too long. Well, not too long. You've been here long enough.
Long enough to
have the immunity.
Yeah, that's right.
We're still building it up. Slowly.
That's right.
Well, but this is my second year as a teacher. You know, I went through high school, went through college, went through university, and I still get sick.
You've been sick quite a lot.
This year, especially, I had a better time last year. This year, my immune system just hit me. But I'm feeling pretty good now. Hoping to not get sick in the near future.
Yeah.
So this has been an interesting week. It's been grad. So today was
Today is
and you're actress. You're dressed up with
I have my scarf on and my sunglasses, my floppy sun hat.
And your sunglasses are heart-shaped.
Yeah.
It's very glamorous.
Yes, and I wore my gold heels to match that as well. So.
Very good.
Gold heels.
Yeah, the stiletto heels.
Oh, wow.
So how much taller does that make you?
Almost Julia's height, but not quite there.
Whoa.
So almost. Yeah. Getting
Julia's
there.
tall.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I look like I'm closer to her height.
Fair enough.
I'm not quite there, which is better. I'll take it.
Which is perfect because you are an actress.
Yes, and I love it.
How many productions have you been at this school?
Well, I've been in as many. The only one I wasn't in so far, like since I started in grade 8, was the 1958, I believe it was called.
1984.
1984, yeah.
1950.
Yeah. Whatever.
It doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah.
George Orwell.
By
Yeah,
George.
that was that was the only one I was not in, but I was in Little Shop, I was in Men Who Came to Dinner, I was in the B, which is the most recent one, which is amazing, and I can't even think, there's like probably more on the top of it. Oh, Unknown as well.
Unknown, yeah.
I had a small part in that one, but it was okay. I also wasn't in To Sir With Love, but
You did help out backstage.
yeah. And that was, I think, a cool. I still count that as an acting experience because it was nice to get to know the backstage, and I felt like I needed those skills to continue on.
So you started in grade 8?
Well, yes, I was interested as soon as we did the grade 8 rotation in drama. I was interested immediately.
Really?
Yeah.
So you didn't do any acting stuff before that?
As soon as I never did any acting, or I actually had stage fright. That's why I started doing drama, because I wanted to get over it.
Yeah.
And I still do have stage fright to this day. Like, I have jitters and all that, but I continue to perform to get over it. So
I think everybody does.
Yeah.
You know, like that's something that I don't even get over.
Yeah.
You know, and that's part of the fun of it.
Exactly.
Is that facing your fear. Like some people like to skydive. Mm-hmm. I like to go on stage.
Right.
You know, you get that little kick of adrenaline when you face your fear. It's lovely.
Right.
Adrenaline
You get a
is
rush.
amazing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Like because sometimes I'll perform like piano or whatever, and same thing. It's with any performance, there's a bit of a rush to it, and you're freaked out beforehand, but during it, it feels good.
It's
And then
almost
after,
euphoric.
Yeah.
Like you're when they talk about Cloud 9, like it's the stage.
It's just hard to get out of that mind state of when there's so much adrenaline that you kind of go into this like robotic mode, and you're just repeating your lines, and you really want to show your emotion on stage. So that adrenaline can mess you up sometimes, but if you keep your mind focused, it works out. It's amazing.
Have you had any instances where you did mess up, and how did you recover from that?
The most recent one for me was at the last Fine Arts Night. I sang a song, I can't think of the name. Oh, I'm Gonna Love You Like I'm Gonna Miss You or something like that.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Meghan Trainor with John Legend.
Okay,
So I sang,
that's a great song.
Yeah.
I sang that song and I messed up the lyrics about halfway through. But I was pretty professional, and I just was like, sorry everybody, I messed up the lyrics, I'm going to restart. And then I nailed it the second time, I don't think many people notice, like, because I went through with it. So
it was bad enough that you had to restart?
Yeah, I was just like, I just need to restart the song. It's not. I was too lost.
Hey, Adele did that at the Grammys. Like,
yeah,
mind you, it wasn't a lyric issue. It was a tuning issue. But she wanted to start over during the tribute to George Michael.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't, because I don't have TV.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But I didn't know that.
She stopped. There was an orchestra behind her. She's like, sorry, we have to stop. This is for George, and I don't want to mess this up.
Wow.
Yeah, and they restarted.
So I guess if Adele did it, it's okay.
Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've messed up on stage. Like when, like, obviously no one notices if I mess up a line, but everyone does it. It's not.
Well, most people wouldn't notice, and if they did, it's usually not something they'll remember, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or it could even contribute because you never
Sure.
you never know. It could change what happened. It could be for the good.
I'll remember.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what though? I don't, like, off the top of my head, I don't remember any mess ups during a spelling bee.
There was a few I could remember, not specifically from me.
That's what I mean. Like,
yeah.
from you, I don't remember any because
They were minor. They were like,
but,
I
like,
switched 2 lines.
Yeah. Being the director and then watching the play. As soon as the play is open, if something gets messed up, that's when I get excited. I'm like, ooh, how are they going to get out of this now? It's like they build themselves a little problem, and they have to figure out how to get out of it, right?
Yeah.
And I like watching that. I like watching because there's nothing I can do.
Right.
I can't jump in and save them, and I really enjoy watching actors like.
Well, you mentioned the one with Sam and the handcuffs during your play.
Oh, that was brilliant.
Yeah.
I loved that.
Can you tell that story?
Sure. So my Drama 910 class last semester was working on a piece of theater that I had written for them called Crime and Creativity, which basically tells the story of Philippe Petit, who walked on a high wire between the World Trade Center towers. But I needed to add more characters because the drama class was big. So I decided to weave in 2 other narratives, the construction of the World Trade Center and the Nixon Watergate scandal, just, writing challenges. And anyways,
brilliant.
Sam Hacker's character gets arrested several times throughout the play, and we were using the same pair of handcuffs for each time he got arrested. And the first 4 performances, flawless. The 5th performance, which was our night performance, where we invited a public audience to come and see it, the handcuff got stuck on one hand and he couldn't get it off. So he had to perform the entire rest of the play with the handcuffs on his wrist. It was stuck. And I remember looking at him, watching him when he wasn't in focus. It was an ensemble piece where nobody exited the stage. When you weren't featured, you were off to the side. And there's Sam just fiddling with the handcuffs. And I'm like, they're not coming off. And I just knew they weren't coming off. And I'm like, wow, what's he going to do? What's he going to do? And then he just strapped the other one to that same wrist, so it just looked like a bracelet, and he just kept going. And I was like, that's good. That's a pro move right there. And it was wonderful. We ended up having to use a screwdriver. We got the handcuffs off after the show, but toy handcuffs, $10 little aluminum toy handcuffs. And
you have to get the real handcuffs next time.
Yeah, but
that would not come off.
That would not come off. Yeah. The whole thing was that he had to get them off himself like a magician.
Yeah.
So, but it worked out. It all worked out.
It's all about quick thinking on your toes.
Yeah.
I guess the more experience you have, the more you're able to go, okay, here's a problem. Yeah. Now I have to figure out. First of all, on the stage, when you're performing, you have no choice.
Exactly.
That's you do it or you fail, right?
Well, my high school drama teacher, that was his pedagogy. Like, his whole philosophy behind his teaching method was the best way to learn how to perform is to perform. Mm-hmm. So we performed a lot and often.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I think also improv is also really important when it comes to acting, because you do actually need that when you're on stage, because if something does go wrong, and it's not always lines too, things can happen with set or whatever. If you have improv and you know it well, you can get out of anything.
So, I mean, we have improv at our school.
Yes.
Do
we still have that?
Yeah. There's an improv club Tuesdays and Fridays at lunch.
Tuesdays and Fridays at lunch.
And Beth?
Yeah, Elizabeth Trottier and Beth Scott are the 2 coordinators of the improv club.
Yes. I'm in improv too.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty
so when you're part of that, I guess you train yourself because you practice so much in different made-up situations on the spot. Mm-hmm. And so that when you're in a play that's scripted, if something does happen, then you feel it's like, I guess it's a confidence thing for one.
Absolutely.
But are there like certain like certain techniques or certain things that you, like technical things that you do, or certain things you train for?
I mean, there's certain, like, there's different techniques, but it's, I don't know, the thing about improv is especially when it comes to scripted plays, I think it's kind of like a safeguard. So, I mean, it's nice to be able to have those, like, the skills. Like, when we're in improv, we play certain games. So we'll play, like, my favorite game is Gary's Late, where, like, there's a person that will come in, and there's already two people set in a scene, and they have to build up the scene and set up for that one person to come in, and that person has to act given by the traits that those other two people gave that person. And so little things like that can add up, and throughout the years, if you can continue with that, it'll help, I think.
So you do get better at that with practice, like many things.
Yeah, just like sports or anything. As long as you practice, you'll get better.
Yeah, you learn to trust yourself.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things that you need to learn in improv is the ability to trust that the first idea is going to be your best idea. And if you get in your head and you start overthinking things, your scene is going to slow down and the ideas aren't going to come. So it's kind of just like allowing your brain to fire instantly. And
trusting your scene partner as well.
Exactly.
Building off of what they're doing. Because if they give an idea and you don't follow off that idea, the scene's going to fall apart.
Yeah. Right.
It's just going to be a mess. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's obviously an interplay between different people who are on the stage.
Of course, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I can think of one scenario where I had to use improv during a scripted play, and that was during our one acts a couple years ago when Laborde was here. And we did this play. It was, I think it was called Rick's Pizza or something along the lines of that. And pretty much how the scene is this boy is trying to propose to his girlfriend, and she isn't too sure about the situation, so she calls her sister and she wants to order pizza, so there can be some sort of distraction, so he doesn't do it. And Ty was the pizza guy.
Ty Stadel.
Stadel, yeah. He did not practice his lines very much beforehand, so we already knew that it wasn't going to go well, so we got Hannah Baker to sit behind this box with the script. And if he forgot his lines, I would have to think of some reason to go behind there and act like it's a pantry and get the lines and feed it to him somehow, so he would be able to respond. So he would be talking to Julia back and forth, and then you could tell there was something missing. So I'd be like, I really want some crackers, because that was my character. I was always hungry. I'd have like tons of food, and I'd go and I'd be like, hey, don't you remember so-and-so, blah, 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 and then he'd be like, oh, yeah, and then we'd build off of that, and that, I thought it would only happen once or twice, but that happened majority of the play.
So basically, two people had to cover for
one person.
Yeah. He couldn't remember his lines.
It turned out good, though. We were probably one of the funniest.
Well, I guess it becomes like a game, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of fun that way, too.
Yeah. It was good. We were all laughing on stage.
That's
hilarious. Just probably not good to laugh on stage, but
it happens.
Yeah, it does happen. Yeah. You can't control it.
Have you had any nights that were just you felt it didn't go well at all?
Like performance-wise?
Yeah.
I think the worst night I have had them. The worst night I ever had was the first night of Little Shop that we did. I don't know why, but I knew all the songs, but for some reason when we were singing Downtown, my mind blanked, and it was for the matinee for the elementary school kids when they came in. And so it came to my part, and I was like, when the ensemble was singing, I was mumbling, because for some reason I didn't sing the words, and I also messed up on Somewhere That's Green. I skipped 2 choruses ahead.
That's a beautiful
and then
song.
I heard the song change, and I was like, I'm way too ahead, and I had to go back and redo it all.
Just repeat it.
Yeah, I repeated myself, and I was like, well,
that's fine.
Yeah. They didn't notice.
It's an easy crowd.
Yeah, exactly.
Elementary kids.
Yeah, they don't know any better.
Yeah.
You don't have any theater critics in the elementary crowd.
They thought it was great. They were like, oh, wow.
Grade 3. Excuse me, those aren't the words. They're in the wrong order. That's not how Stephen
Alan
Menken and Howard Ashman didn't write it like that.
It's funny, though, because actually after the matinee, when I did the Respect Ed stuff at Gibson and all that, the kids were like, oh, you were Audrey, blah, blah, and they would always come up to me, and I was like, wow,
cool.
I actually am a famous actress now.
Yeah.
Well,
In Delta.
Yeah, I went to see... I think I went to the last night. But anyways, that was really amazing. And,
Yes.
I mean, before that, I heard you sing at Live at Lunch. I've heard you sing "Oh Canada" multiple times.
Every year.
But to hear you sing in a musical was different because you were in character. You had like a perfect accent.
Thank you. I can't actually replicate the accent anymore. I don't
Really?
know. Yeah, I've tried.
So that's something you actually worked on for a time.
It was.
How did you do that?
It was a lot of method acting.
That's a New York accent, right?
Yeah, and it wasn't even just the accent. It's just the way she walks and the way everything she does added to the character. So sometimes I wouldn't even be doing, like when we're doing Italian run-throughs, I wouldn't think I need to worry about the accent so much. But just the way she walks and she puts her body, the voice would come naturally.
Right.
So it was a lot of method, thinking about what's going through her head through each scene. Mm-hmm. Even if Laborde wasn't directing that, I would still be thinking about what she's thinking about at this time and all that. I think that's the most method I've ever been with a character.
Right. And that worked out really well.
Yeah.
Because it carried on into when you were singing.
Yes.
It was so much a part of that character.
Yeah. And keeping the accent through the singing. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But that's cool. I like that when you're physically playing the character, the voice comes, right?
Yeah.
It needs to be all encompassing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Then you literally are the person.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
no longer Alandra.
Yeah. You
I'm Audrey.
Exactly. You start becoming somebody else. And
Did you see? Were there any
I
recordings?
saw a video recording of it.
You did?
The unfortunate
Okay.
thing, though, is that the sound quality on the video recording wasn't very good because it was in the gym, so it
Right.
sounded like listening through a tin can. Staging was really cool. Yeah.
That was an expensive set,
Yeah.
I gotta say.
Oh, yeah. I can tell.
But it was amazing.
Yeah.
And very intricate. I gotta give props to Trevor for the puppet on that one, because that was... I still don't know how he did that every single night. That was so sweaty. He'd come out soaked. Looks like someone dunked
Right,
in a
he was the
bucket of water.
puppeteer.
Yeah.
And then Cyril was the voice.
Yeah. That was...
Was Cyril... I guess he had a mic behind the stage or something?
And they had to do a lot of work to get that in sync. And
Yeah,
they
to
did
synchronize that? That's cool.
But they did a really good job. Like,
Yeah, they
I've
did.
seen another production of the play or the musical, and it came nowhere as close as how well they did it. I was blown away.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do. So, especially when the plant is talking really fast. So I'm proud of that.
So I guess you like acting and you like singing.
Yeah.
Have you been singing for a while?
Yeah, I've been singing since I was probably 3 years old.
Okay.
Because my mom actually was a singer before. She used to have her own studio with my dad as well.
Really?
Yeah, they had their own CD. They were actually recently played on the radio somewhere in, like, Canada as random province, but they told me about it, and I thought that was pretty cool, and they...
And what are they called?
I can't think of the name right now.
You
but
don't know.
There's an artist called Elisa Strada. She's a singer.
Yeah, I've heard of Lisa Strada.
Her manager was actually my mom's manager before he
cool.
signed her. So his name's Adam. And I actually went to an audition to him a couple years back. And he remembered me, and he was talking to Elise. And Elise knew me somehow. And I was starstruck because she was talking about me and how she's heard about my mom and all that.
Wow.
And I thought that was pretty cool. So
That is really cool.
yeah, so I have a bit of...
So they still do performances. They go around and...
Not anymore. No, not anymore. They stopped probably when I was, I'd say, like between 6 and 8 years
okay.
old. Yeah, they got a little... They just grew out of it. They just didn't continue, so...
That's too bad.
Yeah, but it's still nice family history.
Yeah. Do they still sing at home or for parties or something?
My mom sends me. She posts YouTube videos every once in a while of her singing, and my mom, although she's not in great shape right now, she has still such a beautiful voice. Like nothing can compare to her voice. I always compare her to Whitney Houston, and people think I'm crazy when I do, but I've showed my friends her singing, and she's like so talented. It's unbelievable. My dad, he can sing, but he's more on the rapping, and he makes his beats and all that. And he's really talented when it comes to computers. So my grandma told me when he was a kid he could take apart an entire computer and put it back together in like a week. It'd be done. So he was really great with all that. So I think I'm getting all those genes slowly. I'm not good with electronics, but I'm good with singing
music.
and music and all
That's
that.
cool.
So it's a little bit of
So you started really early, and you developed your talents. Did you do a lot of performances when you were younger?
No, I never took singing lessons or anything. I was completely self-taught. When I just would listen to the radio and I would copy, and my mom would critique me, or my grandma. My grandma's probably my harshest critic. Whenever I sing, like, I can sing a song and everyone will be like, wow, that's amazing, and she'll be like, no, this needs work, this needs work, this needs work. And I'm like, honestly, although it kind of sucks to hear that, I need it.
You need somebody like that.
Yeah, I need someone to tell me the truth, like if my voice sounds like it's being strained, or if I'm...
Did they come to the play?
Yes, they both came. My grandparents came to the musical on the Friday.
Cool.
And they loved it. They said it was really cool. It was hard though because my grandpa, he has like knee issues, so they had to leave right away just because he can't sit for too long.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And I needed to get ready anyway, so I didn't get to see them directly after, but I saw them when I got home and they were telling me it was great.
That's
so
cool.
It was nice. Nice treat to have them.
What kind of music do you prefer singing?
Well, mainly pop, like I don't know, like
Top 40.
Top 50, top 40.
Yeah.
But I do like singing like older songs, not necessarily to perform, but on my own time.
Yeah.
Like right now, I'm trying to learn a song by Elvis Presley.
Oh, cool.
It's called I can't even think of the name, but it's a beautiful song. I'm probably gonna perform it.
I know.
Not that one.
No, not him. No, I'm gonna probably I'm gonna see if I can perform this one because
Is it one of his? Like,
I Can't Help
earlier-
Falling in Love with You.
Yeah,
It's got to be that one.
yeah. I love.
That's the only ballad that came to mind.
No. Peace in the Valley. It's one of when
Peace in the Valley.
He used to do gospel.
Yeah.
Elvis Presley.
Right,
Elvis
right,
Presley
yeah.
has
Oh
a
my
huge gospel background, and he did this. It was an old hymn that got turned into a rock. There will be peace in the valley for me. Whoa. Very beautiful song.
He had a great voice.
Oh, he was exceptionally
He was
talented.
a legend,
Yeah.
for sure.
But yeah, his roots were in gospel. That's that. Like
I
before he
didn't
got
know
into the whole like, I guess what they called it at the time was rockabilly. Before he was into that whole, with Sun Records and like signed to the same label as guys like Jerry Lee Lewis and Johnny Cash. He was gospel.
Yeah.
All those guys were in that era. Like Johnny Cash was gospel. Carl Perkins was gospel. They were all.
But I could see that though,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
the way all of his music is. I can
Yeah,
see that. That's pretty cool. And speaking of legends as well, a big inspiration like throughout my life was singing, and for my mom as well, as Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
Because she is like, when she passed away, I actually cried. Like I was so devastated because she was first of all, she was beautiful, and I can't even. She's just so great, like in so many different ways. Even her although it's upsetting on how she left, when they did the dedication to her, I don't remember what award show it was. I had goosebumps just because you could sense the appreciation.
With Jennifer
for her.
Hudson.
Yeah.
What was that
tribute.
big song that she did? The single that came out of The Bodyguard. What was the name of that song?
I Will Always Love You.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Huge song.
Yeah, Jennifer Hudson sang that at the Grammys, I think it was.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
probably was.
That's the song that if I ever am able to sing, I know that if I'm ever able to sing that song, I know I have achieved my full potential. I cannot sing it fully yet. If I break it up into parts, I can sing it.
Oh, she belted the crap.
There's a
out of it.
lot
Yeah.
of long notes.
Yeah, a lot of really high long.
High
notes.
long
Very
notes.
difficult. My mom
You
can
gotta hold
actually
it.
sing that song, but I'm pretty impressed. So I hope
Amazing.
I can somehow do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna push myself until I can do it.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
What? You're in grade 12 now. What's the plan after graduation?
Well, I'm hopefully going to be going. I already got accepted into KPU, so that's for the Faculty of Social Sciences, going into psychology.
Cool.
So that'll be fun. I've changed my mind a lot. I originally wanted to, throughout my high school, I started out wanting to be a flight attendant. And then I wanted to become a massage therapist. And then I wanted to go into psychology to work in, adolescents' prisons and be, a counselor. And now I want to go into psychology to learn about, how we think and all that. And then I also want to go into criminology. So together, when I put that together, I want to go into law ultimately. So, because I have a huge interest in law right now. But
Did you take psych here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
you take law?
I took law. Yeah. Loved law. It was amazing. Yeah. Shout out to Mr. Kim. Mm-hmm. It's in my top favorite classes.
Cool.
Yeah, I loved it.
So do you think you want to be a lawyer?
Yeah, that's
cool.
something I want to go. Not right now, just because law is something that takes forever to...
Something buzzed.
Yeah,
something's buzzing in your hat.
That was my phone. But law is something that takes up your entire life.
Oh, yeah.
And so I don't want to get into it right now. I want to wait and just study what I can and then go into law.
Is there a particular area of law that you see yourself drawn to? Because law is so huge.
Yeah. Probably family law and civil law, just because I feel like I'd like to be able to build connections with different families, and I'd like to see people being repaired. I don't want to tear people down as a lawyer. I want to settle disputes, and I want to make things even again. And that's when Mr. Kim took us on our field trip to the courthouse in New Westminster. I saw a family case, and I was so intrigued by that, more than the murder case that we saw. There was a serial killer. He killed 5 people or whatever it was. And it was scary because he turned around and looked at us because Peter sitting next to me was making a lot of noise. And so he kind of turned around, and I was like, oh my god, did he kill
Peter.
Peter Lucas?
Peter's trouble.
Yeah, so he would keep standing up and walking out, and then the guy turned around and made eye contact with us. And I got goosebumps down my arms. It was so scary. I was like, oh my god, he's killed 5 girls. So...
Yeah, but he's in custody now. So.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But the cases went on for a long time.
Innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
Right,
But it was so funny because the jury... Apparently there was one lady that fell asleep, and she was sprawled out asleep through the entire thing.
That's how exciting that was.
Yeah.
The cool thing, though, about going into law and becoming a lawyer, especially one that goes into litigation, that is acting.
True.
I mean, it's not. A lot of people think it's lying. It's not lying. It's the court can be smoke and mirrors sometimes, right? You have to be a performer. You have to be able to prove your case, and sometimes you need to be passionate. Sometimes you need to be angry. Sometimes you need to find someone's soft spot, and it's very performative. Law. It's very performative.
Not much singing in it, though. No. You might have to put that in somewhere.
Well, you know what? Actually, there's a group of lawyers in Vancouver, and every year they put on what they call the lawyer show, and they put on a musical.
Oh,
and
really?
And I think this year, I'd have to look it up, but I think this year they're doing Grease.
Oh wow!
Really?
They did Guys and Dolls a few years ago. They did Legally Blonde. They've done. Gosh, what else have they done? They've done they do a musical every year. I think they performed it at the Fire Hall on West Cordova, which is a skeezy area of town, but the Fire Hall Art Center is a really nice little theater. And, the lawyer show. Every year, lawyers get together and put on a musical.
I love that.
That's something I'd have to go into.
Absolutely.
Well, it's great that they have their profession, and then they have their other passion that they still do.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep it up, right?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think it's good to keep that balance.
For sure.
Yeah.
Just have to make the time.
I've been reading a lot lately about the psychology of play. Particularly in adults, because a lot of us lose that sense of play, and it's actually is incredibly healthy for us. And anything that you can do and they actually say that it's incredibly important to find a sense of play with your colleagues as well, so that work doesn't have that kind of stressful, taxing nature that a lot of people find. And things that you can do with your colleagues, like every couple of weeks, maybe have a bowling night, or play trivia, or little retreats to go out and do fun things keeps workplace really healthy. So I can imagine that for lawyers, which is such a taxing job. It's so stressful. Getting together and doing something like putting on a musical is probably incredibly cathartic.
And at the same time, I think when you are too involved in one thing, you're in terms of what your mind can think of, it's too narrow. And sometimes you need to take a walk or do something else, and then that's when ideas start flowing. At least
clear the headspace,
for most people.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I could see that. I know even though it's not too much in comparison, but I know at my work that that I do work at Hudson's Bay. I don't think I mentioned
HBC.
Yeah,
advertising.
HBC. Yeah, come visit me, Metrotown. And
we get a discount.
Yeah, I'll give you a 10%. As long as you. Well, I guess you'd have to watch the podcast to get it. So there you go.
That's right.
And I know that every year they try and put on these like little events to kind of get us outside of the work and so we can talk. And I like that because at my work I'm very isolated. I work in ladies' wear, so I'm downstairs, and it's a huge floor, and sometimes it's just me, and then there's like jewelry, which is far away, and cosmetics, and I don't really get to talk to anyone. So I only know
it's just you and the mannequins.
Yeah, it's just me. And it's nice because I do build connections with customers. I do have regulars that I get to know, but I'd like to know my colleagues more.
Yeah.
And so they put on these like Christmas parties or whatever, and I love, like, I went to the last one and whatever dinners they had, and it was so nice to actually connect with them, and I got to know them, and now I can when I see them like out in public, it's not just like a hey, it's like I can actually go and have a conversation.
That's cool, right?
Yeah. I like that. It's a good experience, especially for my first job. That's I hope I continue to have experiences like that with my coworkers.
Now that you mentioned the mannequins, I have to ask, have you named the mannequins?
No, I haven't. But with mannequins, I can say we get a lot of trouble because a lot of customers don't realize. So the mannequins, they don't look expensive, but they're very expensive. They're roughly between $200 and $500 per piece. And customers will want something on it, and instead of looking around for it or asking us, they'll rip it off and they'll throw arms. We found arms from a mannequin on one side of the building, on the other side, or on the other floor. Somehow they take it and put it somewhere. We lost a hand on a mannequin for a long time. We found it buried somewhere.
I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Like, I would never... Why would I wouldn't take it off a mannequin. That's strange.
If it was the only one of my size and I found it, I would ask the store clerk to take it off the mannequin.
That's what we advise, but I do still sometimes I'll hear it in the changing room. They're like, oh yeah, I took off the mannequin. I'm like, my eyes wide and I have to run and see where it is so I can put something on it because I don't want a bare mannequin, and I have to tell them, please next time ask us. I feel stupid having to ask you because it's not really that hard.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
It must be incredibly difficult to like take something off a mannequin.
Yeah.
Well, unless you remove their limbs.
Yeah.
Then it's really easy.
Especially the ones some of them are on platforms. I can't even get those, and I have to call a manager to get those down. I don't know how they do it. Especially when it's the prom dresses too. Those are heavy. Yeah. And I don't know how nobody notices them taking it off. Like, I thought security would see them. Yeah.
Just stripping a mannequin here.
Yeah, they don't do anything.
That's weird.
That is weird. So to all you listeners out there, don't do that.
No.
It's weird.
There's a lot of weird.
It's used clothing anyway.
Yeah.
I would never wear it again.
Of course, a mannequin wore it. Why would I want to wear it?
Exactly. Yeah. No, we have a lot of weird things that people do. Like, I've had a security come up to me and told me that there's a customer, she'll take a bunch of clothes and she'll just throw them. She'll get a pile in her hands and throw them in a pile somewhere and leave. And she will continue to do that in different spots throughout the store. I don't know why. Nobody made her mad. She just walked in and started doing that for no reason.
It's just her thing.
Just to make our day a little bit better.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So when you see her, I guess you just call security and then they take her out?
Yeah. Well, they can't take them out, but we just watch and pick up after them. And yeah, people don't know how to clean up after themselves anymore.
What's the weirdest thing that's ever happened to you while working, or the weirdest story you've ever heard?
Oh, there's so many. I think the most bizarre was, I personally wasn't there, But I wasn't on that side at the time. I was on like the contemporary side. It happened in above average. And a lady decided to change her son's diaper and remove it and stick it in between a pile of clothes. And it got everywhere, and my poor manager had to clean it all up, and I felt so bad for her. I could see it in her face, the pain, and we lost all of that because it's all covered in doo-doo. And
why would someone do that?
We've had people use the washroom on our carpets in the corner for, I don't know why. They didn't know where the washroom was.
This is Metrotown.
Metrotown, okay. Yeah. They'll go in the corner. We had one lady, her kid was begging her to use the washroom, and she wanted to try on her outfits. So her kid ended up peeing himself on the floor in the change room, and we had to close it off. I felt so bad for the kid.
I can see how that could happen.
Yeah.
That's an accident.
Yeah,
and it's a child.
Yeah, it's a child. And I've seen the worst of people, I can say that. Mm-hmm. But I can say, people get mad, but at the end, majority of the time they'll say, I'm sorry, I'm not mad at you, I'm just mad at this situation, which I appreciate. Mm-hmm. But it just sucks because they are taking their anger out on me, and it's pretty stressful.
That's customer service for you.
And I gotta smile through it. Yeah.
Customer's always right.
Yeah.
Even when they're not.
And they're usually wrong. Yep. I think the worst case I had to deal with was she wanted to return something from 2 years ago. Our policy is 3 months maximum, keep in mind, which is already a lot. Usually a store is 30 days. And she went through hell with me trying to return it. She wanted to call the store manager. She threatened to call the main person, which is Liz Campbell. She owns Hudson's Bay, she threatened to call them, and she was off the rails, yelling at my manager, yelling at me, yelling at
how did that
customers.
Turn out then?
I'm pretty sure I left my shift before it ended.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure security probably took her out, but yeah.
Like I would have said, call her. Because that's above my thing.
Policy.
Yeah. There's nothing more I can do for you. If you would like to elevate your query, you're more than welcome to do so. But we have reached the limit of what I can do to help you. But
yeah, and I've had managers tell me you don't have to deal with that. You're not paid enough. So
above your pay grade.
Yeah, it's not something I'm going to deal with. And sometimes I'll tell customers, I've got to call a manager. I can't deal with this. It's too much. Right. So they have to deal with it themselves. Oh. Not my problem.
Do you get discounts at other stores at Metrotown?
I'm supposed to. Yeah. And I'm supposed to get a discount at my store. But they're supposed to give us a Metrotown card. It's like an orange card. Uh-huh. I don't have one. Uh-huh. I've worked at the Bay for a year, and I've never gotten one. Sometimes if I show, if I go to, the food court, if I show them my name tag, I'm like, hey, I work here, they'll give me, 10% off. But at clothing stores, they're like, no, if you don't have the card, we don't give it to you. That sucks.
10% at the food court?
Yeah.
That's pretty chintzy for a mall employee.
It's the tax. So, and at my actual store, it's 25% off, but you have to have the credit card. And I'm not even old enough to have the credit card, so I cannot get the discount.
That's because Kyle's kids.
Yeah.
They're going wild. But yeah, so I can't get the discount, so.
Well, that sucks.
It does suck. And it sucks because I hear other stores, they say they get 50% off, and I'm like, what? I want 50% off.
I was working at a pizza place, I got 50% off. It was great.
That would be great.
I got very fat that year.
50% is a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah.
Especially pizza's pretty cheap to begin with, so.
Oh, this was an expensive pizza place.
Oh, okay. So, a Me and Ed's kind of.
It was Me and Ed's.
Oh,
yeah.
I love Me and Ed's.
Yeah.
I went there for the first time a couple of weeks ago, actually. Yeah. And it was interesting because you get to see them actually do everything through the window.
And that's where I worked. I worked in the kitchen.
Did you do the tossing?
You don't do the hand tossing, no. But we do have an open kitchen. And I worked in the kitchen for 4 years, and I like to tell people, if you can work in a restaurant's kitchen for 4 years and still want to eat there, it's saying something about the quality of the product. So people are like, Me and Ed's is so expensive. I'm like, yeah, but you know what? I was there when the deliveries were coming in. It's a fresh product that comes, most of it incredibly local, all the mushrooms, all the vegetables were all local. I was like, yeah, you're paying more because you're not getting processed garbage. You know?
Yeah,
So.
that pizza was good though.
Yeah.
It was pretty.
What kind did you get? Because the Meatheads also has like a lot of really cool specialty pizzas with like good specialty toppings.
We got the Mediterranean.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, and then we got
an
an extra cheesy one where we asked for like extra cheese, and it was like falling everywhere. I loved it.
Yeah, that's good.
Love some cheese.
So do you make your own pizza at home then, Turpin?
Only sometimes, because I'm very anal about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife's like, you can't make pizza. It'll take too long because you're so particular. So she makes it. But she's Italian. Like she's very good.
There you go.
Like it's not that. I mean, yes, I can't cook. Like pizza, I can make. Macaroni and cheese, I can make. But other than that, I'm not a very good cook. But that's not necessarily why I make my wife cook. Like I don't make her cook because I can't. I make her cook because she's awesome at it.
Yeah.
Like she's Italian and everything she makes is delicious.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, I mean, as far as the workload goes, I don't mind making dinner if you don't mind eating crap. Because whatever I make isn't going to taste very good. Yeah, so.
It's kind of like that in my household too. My grandpa's the one that takes over the cooking. My grandma does not. She can cook. She just doesn't.
Yeah, see, I can't. Like I could physically cook, but everything I make, other than I have this really great recipe for mac and cheese, and if it's not mac and cheese or pizza, it's going to taste bad.
I've always had to stay out of the kitchen. I've been told.
Yeah. Dishes I can do.
Yeah.
Well, that's important. That's needed afterwards.
Yeah.
So.
When I was growing up, sometimes I would hang around the kitchen and try to learn a few things, but in the end, it was like kind of out of my way.
Yeah.
And then
is your wife a good cook?
She's great. Yeah, she's great.
And you're a good computer guy.
Again,
so you fix the computers.
I fix the computers.
Yeah.
She does the cooking.
Yeah.
I do the dishes.
Okay, yeah.
That's my job.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm excellent at doing dishes.
Yeah. It's because it's particularly mindless.
And barbecuing.
Oh.
Yeah, see, I
do the outside.
I'm sure I could barbecue, but I don't have a barbecue. We live in a little condo.
Oh.
Yeah. That can be kind of tough.
Yeah.
A fire hazard, maybe.
Yeah. I'm not even sure if we're allowed to barbecue. I'd have to look at the strike agreement.
Most condos you're allowed to.
Yeah, I live in a condo too. And we have one.
I started a fire in my barbecue once when we were living in a condo.
Nice.
It was, there was just too much grease. I guess I should have cleaned it once in a while.
Yeah.
So there's lots of grease collected, and then I'd turn it on, and
it ignited.
The thing, so I had to turn it off. I left the lid on, and I was freaking out because there's so much smoke, black smoke everywhere. I was like, oh my goodness, am I going to set this whole apartment on fire?
The sprinklers start up.
Wow.
No, eventually it just died down.
Oh, that's good.
That was good.
I've been in 2 fires actually.
What?
In my own
What?
house. Yeah. When I was a kid, we had a house fire, and it was... The way I handled it was terrible because I was young and I didn't know.
How old were you?
I was probably 10 years old.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Holy
I
smokes.
remember... literally.
Yeah,
I remember waking up to the smell of smoke. I walked outside my room, stood at the top of the staircase, saw the smoke, turned around, went back to my room to go to sleep. Because I was like, oh, someone else will deal with it. Until I hear screaming and people telling me to get out of the house. We go out. It wasn't severely damaged. It was mostly damaged from the actual smoke, but not too much from the fire. Because the smoke, I don't know, it ruins everything. And so...
That could have been prevented,
Yeah. But anyway, so that sucked. And then the house was... We repaired it and everything, and it was okay. Then a couple years later, I'd say I was probably 12 by this point, I had a garage fire. And how it happened was it was sparked by a heater. It was an old heater, and I guess we left it running in the garage because the garage is cold. And we had some of my mom's friends were staying in there because they didn't have a home at the time, so we offered them to stay in the garage. So we set up a nice little home in there, and the heater was left, and it sparked on the carpet, and it all went up in flames. And the way we found out is I was watching TV, and we had some guy knock on our door. And he was like, you could tell there's traffic outside. He's like, so your garage is on fire. And we kind of go outside and we see it slowly burning. And we're like, would you look at that? And then I kind of see my mom run to go get the fire extinguisher if that's going to help. Instead of calling 911, she tries to save herself. And we lost every single thing in that garage. But luckily it didn't continue onto our house, so there's a fence separating it to our house.
But
this garage
detached garage. Yeah, but we did store most of our stuff in the garage.
Oh, okay.
So it kind of sucked because we had a lot of valuables that we kept in there that we didn't have space in the house for. So that sucked because my grandmother's, most of her stuff was in there, and she passed away a few years later. So we didn't really have time to accumulate a lot of stuff back from her. So it sucked. But
some things you can replace, but some things you can't.
Yeah, exactly. And especially if it's memorabilia, for my great grandmother's, pictures and things were in there
stuff.
and lost.
That sucks.
Yeah, things happen. So.
See, we were broken into a couple years ago, and some things were taken. Not valuable stuff. Well, valuable in terms of
monetary value.
Monetary, but through insurance you can get it back.
Yeah.
So not anything that's irreplaceable. But we learned from that, we put everything in the safety deposit box that we just can't lose, right?
Right.
I've been robbed before, too. Same house that had the garage on fire.
Yeah.
We had our TV and computer stolen.
Computer TV.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Yeah.
You can get it back.
Yeah, and especially ID. A lot of people steal ID now. And that is a pain. Because you go through the paperwork and you have to phone...
a million different places.
To sort that out.
Yeah, my uncle's had his identity stolen, and I saw the math of that, so that's why I am straining away from getting a credit card in my life, but I know I'm going to need one. I just don't want to use it.
Credit card's good to have, because then you can start building up good credit, and then you want to go for a mortgage.
That's true.
Yeah, you have good credit.
And you're usually protected if somebody else is using it.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's true.
You get all that back. So.
Yeah.
Just sucks when everything else is stolen.
Right.
Especially if you get your passport or something taken, that's going to suck even more.
It's a pain.
Yeah. That's what I was holding on to in Cuba. I put that in my safe and I never touched it until I left.
Whereabouts were you in Cuba?
We went to Holguin, Cuba.
Oh, okay.
And it's like the center.
Right, that's middle.
Yeah, and it was beautiful. I burnt a lot, to a crisp. I remember, because me and Julia shared a room, and I remember we woke up on the third night there, and I just turned my head, and I was like, I can't move. I'm in so much pain. And she looked at me, and she just gave me a nod, I'm in so much pain. I would crinkle my nose, and it made me almost want to cry. That's how bad my face was burnt and everything. I came back peeling, but I'm tan, so happy about that, at least. I can have a tan, so.
Yeah, it's 30 degrees all year round in Cuba.
Yeah. We did have tropical rain, though. On the last
That's cool,
2 days... Yeah. There was tropical rain. It actually flooded our hotel.
Ooh.
And it flooded not just the first and second floor, but also the third floor, somehow.
Yeah.
And actually, it flooded so bad, there was a crab on the second floor.
What?
I don't know how it got there. I feel like someone put it there, but it was a live, a medium-sized crab. That was, so weird. And it was gross because they had, a sort of, pipe system that would allow, I guess they get the tropical rain pretty often, so it would allow the water to flow out.
Right.
So the water would only get up to a certain amount, but there was bugs in there, so there'd be hundreds of bugs scattered everywhere from inside the pipes. It was so gross to walk around.
Yeah.
And I had to walk through them because I had to let my friends know to put towels through the door so the water wouldn't come into their place. Mm-hmm. And I know the place where we could go get our food, what was it called? Not banquet hall, but the buffet area. The ceiling started leaking in there as well, and I was like, this 5 stars turning into a 2-star because there's water everywhere. But it was cool because I've never done this before, but Julia saw the opportunity and I followed her. So it started raining and she put on her bathing suit and started running outside. Yeah. And I was like, I'm never going to do this again. So I did that. And the water from the rain...
It's warm.
It's warm, but it's also cleaned my hair better than the showers.
More pressure.
Yeah, my hair was the cleanest it ever been on that day.
Wow.
Good call.
Warm rain is something else.
Yeah.
And we're not used to that in Vancouver. When it rains, it's cold. Even in the summertime, it rains, it's cold.
Yeah.
But when you're someplace tropical and it rains and the water's hitting you and it's warm, that's something else.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's a nice break if it's been really hot.
Yeah.
And it's,
for sure.
Everyone after Julia and me started running, everyone was running around in the rain. And it was great. It was just
So were you at a resort or you were?
It was an all-inclusive resort. So we got anything we wanted pretty much. And I feel bad for the staff there just because there was a lot going on and a lot of things were being broken. I know outside my door, someone broke completely shattered a door, and they had to clean that they cleaned it by the next day. I was so surprised. Wow. Their staff was on it. I saw them having group meetings. That's how bad, because people would break signs and all that. So I tipped them a lot before I left, because I was like, you guys are doing a great job. But and they treated us like royalty. I love it. I don't think I've ever forget experience.
Did you go outside of the resort, or did you?
So we did excursions. So I did a catamaran cruise, which was really cool. And it took us to this island, and we had a lunch there. It was like this private little island, and there was a restaurant there, and we got to eat, and we got to drink out of coconuts, which is actually disgusting. It's so bad. It was sour. It was not good. I don't know why. So I didn't even finish that. And then we went on this Jeep safari. So this guy took us, and at this point we were separated from the original tourist guys. It's a separate person, and it was just really cool, because in Cuba their cars are all from the 1950s, 1960s. So it was this really cool 1950s Jeep, and it was amazing. We had wild boars running in front of us.
Oh, wow.
We got to pet this ostrich, which scared me because I know ostriches are dangerous. But it was actually super calm, and they say when they take on tours they see the ostrich all the time, so they had a name for it and everything. And so we got to pet it, and I know it pecked Danilo's shirt, and that's why I was like, okay, this is going down, it's gonna attack. But it was trying to eat something on his shirt or whatever, and it swallowed a whole banana, and you could see it go down its throat, and it was so it didn't
its long throat,
and we were feeling it while it was going down his throat. It was really weird. Yeah, it was cool. And every time we'd peck the ground, I thought it was gonna peck us, but it was really cool. And then we got to see they had these giant termite nests in the trees, and they were huge. They were massive. They were probably 3 of my head. They were so. I thought that was really cool. I don't know why, but
the termites make some amazing structures.
Oh, yeah.
It was definitely a trip of a lifetime. And then we did a volunteer excursion, which they just added in, and so we went to an elementary school, and I was I was one of the few that knew a bit of Spanish. There was one girl fluent in Spanish, and then I knew a small amount of Spanish, but enough to be able to communicate. I was very proud of myself. So anytime they would say something to Julie or something, they'd look at me immediately, and I'd have to kind of translate somehow, which I felt pretty important being a translator, even though I couldn't do it perfectly. And the kids were so cute, and we got to paint their school partly because we had the resources, so we brought it, and we painted their school pink, one building, one part of it. And the boys would play soccer with the little boys, and we played those hand games with the girls, and we showed them Stel Stel Ola, and they had a version in Spanish, and so they taught us that, and so we learned it in Spanish and English, and it was really cool. It was really neat to connect with them on that level.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an interesting experience.
Yeah, for sure.
Have you been to Cuba?
No. I'm not very worldly.
It's neat country it's very safe, and it's just really neat, because I backpacked around the island with a friend just out of university. Actually, we may still have been in, I think it was 3rd year of university, and that was a really amazing experience.
The food is bad though.
The food is hard to find. It's hard to find. I remember we would go to restaurants, and then they would give us a menu. So this is a restaurant, and it'd be empty. We'd open up the menu and go, oh, okay, quite a selection. And then the waitress came to see us, and she was like, sorry, tonight, no chicken. And that's half the menu. Because what they have to do, even in a town where there's lots of fish, like a fishing village, they would take the fish and they distribute it through the rest of the country. Being communist, I guess that's the idea. So even people in those kinds of towns, sometimes they can't get what they produce.
Wow.
So food is hard to come by unless you like we stayed sometimes at people's homes, and so we'd pay $10 extra, and then we'd get all meals included. And that was when we ate. If you go to a restaurant, forget it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was hard to find good food.
Yeah, we.
And I guess you experienced the same thing.
The food was just terrible.
Except you were at a all-inclusive.
Yeah, but the buffet after the first 3 days, because we were there for almost 7 days. So
was it the same stuff?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And it was. I remember I would always trick myself because I'd be like, okay, it's gonna be good. I'd get excited and I'd try it again. I'd be like, yeah, I know they told me there was lobster. I was like, oh my gosh, lobster, that's amazing. Dry, nothing compared to here because all of our seafood here is way more fresh and just terrible, and I couldn't even eat it. The pasta, I'd always be like, oh, it's so exciting, but the cheese is not, doesn't taste the same as it does here, and it would just be, I could never. I lost like 5 pounds coming back from there because I barely ate anything because it's just.
It's lots of plantains.
Yeah.
And chicken. Sometimes.
The fruit is good though.
Yeah.
The fruit is really good.
They have lots of cool fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of
and I had a lot of corn. That was the main thing I ate.
Same here.
Yeah.
Tons of corn.
Yeah, the corn is really good. I can appreciate that. Yeah. But yeah, no, the food was bad, and I have nightmares of it. They always told us to go to because there was 4 restaurants in the resort. They always told us to do it. I never had time. There was an Italian restaurant, too. I just never had time to sign up, so that's all right.
So what's up for you for the rest of the year in terms of performances?
Well, I'm in script writing, directing, so I have my idea of what I want to write my play on.
So that's the stage you're at right now?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm currently brainstorming ideas for the characters specifically and how I'm going to write their personality and their names and all that. So I'm in that kind of creative process in my mind right now. But I want to connect with the rest of the class first more. But yeah, for just like a little idea, I'll share a little snippet of my idea. So I had 3 ideas to start out with, but I ended up narrowing it down to 1. So I wanted to focus down on mental health. And so I know that Mr. Turpin told us at the beginning of the year to pick a room that we want to do our performance in. And so for me, I decided the band room would be the best place to do mine. And so I wanted to do a character who's battling schizophrenia. And I want to do more research on it so I can make sure I'm as accurate as possible. I'm calling it the monster next door. So instead of the neighbor next door, it's the monster. And it's going to be her. So it's going to be her as a center, and the characters around are going to be the delusions in her head, and they're going to pop up so that it'll be like a classroom setting. She's like in band practice, and it'll be her internal conflicts the entire play, and just her having conversations with these different personnels in her mind. And at the end it's going to come up and it's going to be the teacher like, are you okay? And she's going to be like, yeah, I'm fine. And it's just like the audience is going to be blown away because they're going to hear all this and then I'm fine. And it's like, and I feel like that happens a lot.
That it is its life. Like so many kids just hide what's going on inside their heads, right?
Yeah. So I want to send shivers up the audience's spine. And I'm thinking possibly to get the audience to sit as if they're in the class.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
So then, you're like in it, and I feel like that'd be cool. The surround.
That worked really well for To Serve with Love.
Yeah.
As an audience member, I was like, it's like I'm part of the class, and Shiv Neal's up there teaching.
Yeah.
It was immersive. That was good.
I love that kind of stuff.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that? What you're doing with the different rooms?
So the basic idea at the beginning of the year, and then we got into spelling bee mode, so we tabled the idea, and now it's coming to life again, is we were going to do a mini Fringe Festival. So the idea of a Fringe Festival, it comes out of Scotland, is where the idea originated. They used to have this big performing arts festival in Edinburgh, but it was like for this wealthy elite of performing artists groups, and a whole bunch of like the working class artists were like, well, that really sucks. We're never going to get invited. We don't have the money. So they said, well, why don't we take our ideas and we'll put on a festival around the festival, and it'll be fringe ideas, low budget stuff, and it'll be plays that talk about the real world and the problems that we have and or the good things that we have, and we'll be like fringe artists. So they called it the Fringe Festival, and now there's a Fringe Festival in every city, like every major city in the westernized world, and it's all about doing theater on a low budget in found spaces, and the ideas are always really fresh, really edgy. Well, not always like edgy in terms of the content, but like literally on the cutting edge. Like if you go to the Fringe Festival in Vancouver this upcoming year, there's probably gonna be a ton of stuff about like Donald Trump and problems with North Korea. Like it's always really engaged in what's happening in society right now, or usually what Fringe plays are. And in some cases, the Fringe is where the life of a play will start. A lot of plays that have gone on to great success on Broadway started as little Fringe ideas. Not Spelling Bee, which would have been really cool. I could have been like, yeah, Spelling Bee is one of them. Although Spelling Bee has its own really cool origin story. A Canadian musical that actually gained great fame out of the Fringe was The Drowsy Chaperone. It was originally written as a wedding gift for a friend, and then they said, "Wow, this was really great. You made me a little 15-minute musical for my wedding. I would love to help you expand it into a half an hour." Did it at the Toronto Fringe. Someone saw the Toronto Fringe, said, "Bring it to New York Fringe." They bring it to New York Fringe. Producer says, "That's great. Bring it up to 90 minutes," and it played on Broadway.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, like, these things happen. So I wanted to delve you into a little microcosm. We got 7 students in the script writing and directing class. They all need to write and direct something. So rather than having a play or multiple plays in one studio, we'll have these little plays. They're not going to be terribly long, and you can come down to the school and cycle through and see multiple plays in one evening, or come back the second night. So see 3 first night, see 3 second night. Whatever you want to do.
That is a cool idea.
So a little festival. Yeah.
Very cool. I think it'll be terrific.
It'll be cool.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Now, Spelling Bee, that was an interesting. When you first mentioned that, I was like, what is that? And you said it was on Broadway. I was like, I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
But then I came to watch the show without knowing anything. It was funny on the way in to the show, because I drove my son here. I went back to Vancouver to pick him up, and I had my I have Apple Music, so it kind of picks things randomly. And I picked one of the songs from it. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
It came up and I was like, oh, that's what it sounds like.
Oh, that's great.
So then, but then when I watched the show and they started picking people, I knew from before from other staff that, you might get chosen to participate. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. That's different.
Yeah.
So, you had 2 of your crew come and sign us up with a clipboard and ask me weird questions like, do you have any allergies? I'm like, what does that have to do with? I guess I had to do with the juice, or something like
that's
that.
That's exactly what it was.
But anyways, I got picked. I didn't know I was going to be up there for that long. I was like, okay, it's just a short little thing, and off I go. Yeah. And then I did some research afterwards, and apparently for the Spelling Bee. On Broadway they did this too, which is really novel.
Yeah.
And at one point they had like one of the scripts, like champions go up there, and it took a while for them to get
knock them out.
out.
Yeah.
So I think in the end they had to make up a word.
Yeah.
Which
the script actually tells you.
Yeah.
The script tells you to make up a word if you can't get them out. Yeah. But like reading up on it and stuff. Celebrities were often ones that would get pulled up on stage too.
Julie Andrews,
and they knocked her out on supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. She couldn't spell it. Yeah, I love stuff like that. I think it's hilarious.
It is that was really cool because of that. It was very different, and you've got the audience involved too.
Yeah.
So
the only night that didn't have a staff member come was opening. Other than that, we had a staff member every night.
Right.
I was like, we have to have a staff member. We have to.
Every night.
Yeah, that was neat.
So I think we had Nikich, we had Deb Hansen, we had Mike Annandale, we had yourself, we had Miss Kyle. Those were the 5 staff.
And the actors did a phenomenal job of improvising around the different things that happened.
Yeah. It was fun.
It was really fun. That was one of my, it was probably one of the top, it's one of those musicals you can kind of play with, and I love that. I love the freedom in that, especially with my character Leaf. Oh, I had so much fun with Leaf. There was so much to play with the bubbles and the props that I had on, blowing
the
balloons.
Bicycle helmet, the cape. That's hilarious.
I really targeted my inner child with that. I can say that. and it brought a new light.
I love the pet rock.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that rock I got from Romania actually when I traveled there. My uncle's an artist, and so he painted it for me. And I was like, it makes sense to have a guinea pig because Leaf's all of her words are rodents. So it made sense to have a guinea pig. And I needed something to distract myself so I would fall. That was my favorite part. The fall.
Yeah.
So.
Well done.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
And it must have been like kept fresh every night because there were different cast members, if you could call them that, involved by bringing in the audience, right?
Yeah.
You just never knew what was going to happen. My brother, because we didn't have a staff member on opening night, we had my brother opening night, and he spelled a word correctly. The word that was meant to knock him out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Kimmy Margle.
He did well.
Which was the definition of Kimmy Margle is an Irish drinking game. So he sat down and then he's like, the other spellers were like, wow, you must really know your Irish drinking games well to be able to spell that.
Mine was Caterjune, and that's like a nonsense.
Yep.
I looked it up afterwards.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a real word.
Yeah, but there's
no definition. There's no definition.
No. And there are different spellings for it too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's what do they say? It's a New England whaling term.
Yeah.
The Leviathan approaches. Caterjunes.
Yeah,
it's like, what does it even mean?
Yeah.
I remember my boyfriend went up too, and he was talking to me after. He was like, "Is that really a word?"
What word did he get knocked out on?
I can't think of it for the life of me right now, but it was. Yeah, no, I can't think of it right now, but I know he made me Google it and show him how to actually spell it, because he was like, I can't believe
I think my favorite word of all is haruspex.
Yeah, it was that word,
haruspex, which is the inspection of entrails of a deceased body for the purposes of foretelling the future.
Yeah.
Haruspex.
And that's real.
That's a real word. Yeah. And then the definition that went with it. And Danilo did such a good job with those definitions, but he did like a 1920s radio reporter. The 1832 banning of entrail inspection was a death blow to the haruspex industry. It was very, very funny.
I loved Patch. That was a good character.
Yeah, he did very well.
He played that excellent.
Everybody, it was well cast.
Thank you.
It's very well cast.
That's what I say. I always like to tell actors, as I say, I'm not a very good director. Except at casting. I'm very good at casting.
Yeah.
And casting is hard to do.
Casting is hard to do. Yeah.
It's a hard process.
Yeah, everybody was so good.
Yeah.
Trevor's amazing.
Yeah.
Montana can sing.
Yeah.
I don't know,
right? That was very shocking. Yeah. I was very pleased with that. That was great.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that she actually, because she's newer to the theater
Is she?
company. She wasn't in theater when I was like grade 8, 9, 10.
Right.
She came in grade 11. So that was cool to see more people from my grade interested, because there wasn't very much. I thought it was going to be me and Julia and Hannah by the end left, but there's more now.
Right.
So that's
and
really
great that
cool.
she got to do that before she graduates.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And I love seeing the new, like, grade 8s getting interested too, and grade 9s as well, so that's really...
Oh, we had such a great drama 9-10 class this year.
Yeah?
I'm so excited for how it's going to
be. Oh, right, I saw them.
Yeah, you saw them in their play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw their performance.
Lots of talent at the school, I must say.
Absolutely.
We are the talent school.
We definitely are.
The little school that could.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
All right, Alandra. Well, it's been great.
Yeah.
And
Thanks for having me.
You're extremely talented, and I wish you a very interesting future as a lawyer / singer performer.
Doing the lawyer musical every year.
Yeah.
Or do it in the courtroom.
Yeah, I can do that.
I would love to
make that a thing.
I think it'd be really cool to stage a production of Chicago in a courtroom.
Ooh.
That could work.
Yeah.
That would work.
That would work very well, yeah. Cool.
All right. Thank you, Alandra.
Thank you for having me.
Take care. Awesome.
Bye-bye.